Bonjour! So, you're ready to travel again? You're ready to book your trip to Paris? But you're feeling just a little uneasy, maybe wondering how things are right now with life during COVID, and you want to know a bit of what life is like here. So let's jump right in and talk about it and let you know what you need in order to feel comfortable for your travels. First and foremost, Paris is clearly open, very open, and ready to welcome you back. All the attractions are open. The Eiffel Tower is open, the Louvre is open, museums are open, the restaurants are open with the Pass Sanitaire, all those things with the Pass Sanitaire, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it's all open, guys. Also, right away, let you know I'm not an expert, but think of me as your best friend that lives in Paris and can give you the word on the street. So as your newly found best friend, I've taken the time to do some research, pulled together some links, which I will share in the comments, and we'll share on our social channels for you to go through and look at yourself. We also have friends and my mother-in-law coming in the next month, so we're also doing this research for them and staying very tuned into it all. So here we go. Let's start with leaving the US. To get to France, right now you need to be either fully vaccinated or have a PCR test within 72 hours before traveling to France. Fully vaccinated is considered 7 days after your last double dose vaccine or 30 days after the one dose vaccines like the Johnson & Johnson. We'll share all the links where you can see all of the vaccinations that are being accepted, but pretty much all the main ones in the US are being accepted here. Before you leave the US, the biggest thing you'll need to do is go ahead and get your vaccine converted to the QR code that you'll show here. You may have heard of the Pass Sanitaire. What is it? How to get it? The Pass Sanitaire is now what you need to get into the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, museums, even restaurants. If you're taking a train through France, you're going to need to show your QR code. We don't look at this as a totally bad thing because we have a lot of confidence going to dine, being in these places, knowing that the people that we're sitting around have either been vaccinated or have tested negative for COVID in the last couple days. So there's that solace. Next, how to get it. I'll put the link in the comments that has everything you need to know. Make sure you read through it very, very carefully. The link currently says for those traveling through August 18th, it may say the 19th as of filming today because today is the 17th. But they've been updating it because I noticed the other day it said the 15th, the 16th. However, in the FAQs, it says to submit as soon as you know your travel dates. We will be submitting, our friends will be submitting their application, as will my mother-in-law. We've also had clients that will be submitting last week, this week, so they're going to let me know how long it takes to get their QR code. If for some reason the QR code did not arrive in time, if your window is short, you can travel to France with your CDC vaccination card, but you will need to convert it to the Pass Sanitaire, the QR code, to get into the museums, tourist attractions, restaurants, etc. You can take the antigen test once you're here, and that also grants you access, but you would have to take that every 72 hours. So ideally, obviously, the goal is the QR code. So as your BFF reporting, I am going to stick closely to my notes here because I don't want to miss anything. This stuff is really important. Pay attention to all the details outlined on that link of what to do to request your QR code. Of particular interest, it says to send your files as a PDF. They should not be larger than 10 megabytes. No zip files. Make sure to use a specific formatting requested for the subject line. They detail that very clearly. Check and double check. From converting mine here, I believe they're going to need to know the batch number and which arm you had the shot in. So the batch number was listed on my CDC card. Mine was in the US, and I luckily had a photo and remembered which arm it was in. But think back, have that information on hand as well. Also, separate emails per person traveling. So even if it's you and your husband traveling, you do need a separate email per person because each person will receive their own unique QR code. Also, regularly check your spam folder for their response. You don't want to miss it. And finally, make sure your email address is completely legible because that's how they're going to send it back to you. One note of particular interest, numbers. If your email address includes a number such as a 1 or a 7, the Europeans, the French especially, they have almost a little loopy on their one that on menu boards, etc., often looks like a 7. So make sure your 1 is very clear. Maybe add our English version of the foot under it. And for a 7, I often put the little hash mark through the base of my 7 so they know it's a 7. You don't want to miss out on getting your code, so do those things. And on the link, there is an application form, so make sure even though you're sending all of those documents that you don't forget the application form. That was noted there by them, so I'm sure some people have forgotten to send that part. Currently, for minors, those 12 to 17 years old don't need it until September 30th here. After that, 12 to 17-year-olds will need it as well, and if they're under 12 years old, they don't need it at all. The awesome news is that the Pass Sanitaire #EU digital COVID certificate will also be recognized in the entirety of the EU. So if you're traveling somewhere else after France, you'll already have your code. You've received your QR code. Félicitations. Congratulations. Now what? Before you leave the US, download the Tous Anti-COVID app. I'll note that in the information for the video so you know where to find the download. You can have it in English, and if you're a numbers person, it has tons of statistics for you. You can check the rates, how many people, cases. Today I input our zip code and it gave me Ile-de-France, which is the Paris region, in comparison to all of France. So you can then compare to your numbers back home and get a feel for what the scene looks like here regarding COVID. The other important aspect with the app is that you can now take your QR code and basically upload it into your app. Then you'll go into the wallet as you access museums, restaurants, etc. here, and you'll just open your wallet, you'll show them your QR code, and they'll scan it as you go in. You may still, not a bad idea, to print your QR code and have a couple copies on hand, just in case your phone dies, you can still get in wherever you had planned to go. So, you've done all that, you've had an amazing time in France, now it's time to go home. What do you do when it's time to go home? Well, currently, you should just need the antigen rapid results test. Most pharmacies here have it. Often there's going to be the little white tent set up outside, so it's a great indicator that they're doing the test. The hours for the testing aren't always the exact hours of the pharmacy. They're usually a little bit shorter, so just check on that, or don't go right at opening or don't go right at closing. Super easy, you'll have the results in 10 minutes and be ready to go. The other thing I have needed, when Doug and I left the US to come back in July, we did not have to take a COVID test since we were fully vaccinated. But coming into France and going back, we had to have an attestation, just saying we weren't exhibiting any COVID symptoms. It was just a statement of our honor. So I will link to that too. Going through some of this, I did come across it once or twice. I don't even know if they asked for it, but you don't want to be stressing about it. Just go ahead, fill it out, print it, and have it on you in the event that they do. The COVID test at the pharmacies here, it is capped for price. So the most you'll pay is €29 for the rapid results. And should you need the PCR test for some reason, it's capped at €49. So the last few things of note, it was encouraging today when I logged into the Tous Anti-COVID app. I saw that 67.8% of France is fully vaccinated. So that seems pretty good, comforting numbers. The other thing that I hadn't considered much or thought about recently is travel insurance. But in doing some of this research yesterday, I did come across that as not being a bad idea. And I suppose if there ever was a good time to do travel insurance, this may be the time. When Doug and I travel to the US, we no longer have health coverage in the US. So we always use AXA insurance, AXA. They've always been great. It really doesn't cost that much and gives us peace of mind that when we're in the US, if something happens to us, we get an accident or have a medical emergency, we're covered. So that could work in reverse for you too, coming this way. And by the way, what I came across was worded. It may also cover portions of your travel, such as your flight or your hotel stay, etc. So again, just depending what level of peace of mind you want to have for your travels, that may be something else to look into. We also came across the information about the new travel advisory that was posted. We believe largely in part to the protests across France right now for those in opposition of the Pass Sanitaire. If I weren't digging for this information, I wouldn't honestly have known that it was a thing. We've lived here long enough and come across plenty of manifestations or protests in our time here that when we come across it, we simply go the other way. It's pretty simple to avoid it. Just go the other direction, take off to another attraction if it's around something you were wanting to go to. As a whole though, we feel that Paris is relatively normal on a daily basis living here. It's easy to still enjoy Paris for all it has to offer at the moment. All that being said, we understand that ultimately you have to make the best decision for yourselves. We simply want to provide the resources to make it easily accessible for you to research everything and make that choice for yourselves. Whether you are here next month or we see you in the spring. Either way, whenever the time is right, we'll be excited to welcome you back to Paris. Don't forget, we are photographers, so we'd be happy and honored to take your pictures of your Paris travels. Be sure to check out the rest of our channel. We have great Paris resources, behind the scenes, things to do in Paris, how to check out Availib, how to do a picnic, market tours, lots of things, and we'll be bringing more your way soon. In order to make sure you don't miss all of our Paris content, like, subscribe, comment, and follow for more. We look forward to seeing you in Paris soon. Bisous, bonne journée, au revoir. Oh, I almost forgot. Whatever you do, bring a jacket. It's been so cold here this summer. So pack that jacket and thank me later. À bientôt. Bisous, bisous. Au revoir.